HVAC and residential, David, if we can, because you did see things starting to move in a very positive direction. People, what? They're upgrading, they're staying at home, they realize they're too hot. What's going on?
Well, good morning, David. It's really all of the above. If you look at the month of June, our orders in our residential HVAC business were up 100% over June of last year. In fact, it was the best month of orders in our company's history, and our company's history goes back to 1902 when Willis Carrier invented air conditioning. So clearly it was hot. Cooling degree days were up 12% in June. There was some pent-up demand. There were lower inventory levels coming into the quarter because I think there was a little bit of anxiety in the distribution and dealer network about not ordering too much. And then I think you're exactly right. People are prioritizing spend on their homes. People are eating home. They're working from home. And that's become, I think, a real priority item for the consumer base.
All that said, though, overall, of course, sales were down rather sharply, not unexpected for the company. You did start to see things come back. What are your expectations now for the second half of the year in terms of both consumer spend and what you're seeing on the enterprise side?
Yeah, we saw sales down 20% in the quarter. That's the bad news. The good news is we thought it was going to be down closer to 30%. So it's really less bad than we thought. But we saw very positive momentum, not only in Resi HVAC as we got into June, but even in some of the commercial construction pieces. And we saw China continuing to stay strong and Europe kind of coming back to life. That momentum's continued into July, where orders in the United States have remained extremely strong, including in the Resi business. China has been extremely strong in the month of July. Europe is almost at even par with where we were last year, just down a couple of percent. And our expectation is that even though there will be some continued momentum, it will be very spotty and uneven. We're seeing it state to state, county to county, country to country, where we see places in Spain open and then they close. Same in the UK, same, of course, in the US and globally. So our whole plan of attack was to pivot hard, cut costs hard, and then loosen the reins gradually as we go, knowing that this will be a very uneven environment.
Now, we had you join us mid-quarter to talk about your efforts in terms of purifying the air in big buildings, something that many people have been focused on. Is that going to really result, David, in a significant business for you, an uptick, I should say, in sales?
No question. I mean, we're seeing demand, David, real time. We've seen it for the new OptiClean solution that we introduced. We've seen it for many customers reaching out, whether it's universities or K through 12 or commercial office buildings, really trying to give people confidence as they come back. And, you think back to 9/11, and there was a real question. Are people going to come back into high rises in New York City? Are people going to go back onto planes? And the last 2 decades have really been defined by giving people that confidence through security systems. Now, metal detectors are ubiquitous. You look at the next 20 years and what's going to give people confidence as they get back into public indoor environments, it's going to be the health and safety of those indoor environments. So customers reaching out to us for filtration, ventilation, and also fire and security. We just announced a partnership with FLIR for thermal imaging. We're doing more contact tracing. So healthy and safe indoor environments is thematic, and we're seeing real sales from it.
That sort of reminds me, we always ask you about commercial real estate. We always ask you about new construction. But for existing residential, are we seeing upgrades because of that promise?
We are. It's honestly, Carl, it's a bit at the margin. We have for our residential business, we have electrostatic filters, which I have in my home, and in many of the higher end units that we sell in our Infinity system, we have those. Customers are starting to ask the question about what they can do to make their homes healthier and safer. I'd say it's very early stages of that, but there's a tremendous opportunity going forward, especially when you look at replacing filters with more, they won't go to full HEPA filters, but more fine filters throughout the home.
David, always appreciate you taking a little time for us. Had to cut it a bit short today, given the preponderance of news. Thank you.
Thank you, David.